Alright, so I'm going to start off by doing 2 trebles. So I'm going to do 1, 2, 3 chain in the beginning, and then I'm going to wrap my yarn around 2 times and go into the same, into this treble like we did, and bring it through, and bring it through. We're not leaving any stitches on our hook. Alright, so just remember that. Then I'm going to go into each one of these 5, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 with a double crochet. So same as you did with all those other stitches, but we're just going to crochet now. So that's 1, 2, 3, and then 5 into that one. Okay, these are the clusters that you're going into. See those? It's the cluster. You just go into each one of those. Then into these ones over here, you're going to do your treble. So wrap your yarn around twice, and you're going in the same way. In your stitch there, under, bring up a loop, go through 2, go through 2, and go through 2. Okay, and you're going to do it in that next one as well. Twice, go through 2, go through 2, and go through 2. And you can see there it's basically straightening our work. Okay, so now we're going to go into these and just make sure it's 5. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. So wrap your yarn around, it's just a double crochet in there. Go through into the next one. Just double crochet. 3. This is number 4. And then number 5. Okay, so you're going to do that all the way for this row. Just this one from the one end to the other. There's my 2, so I've got to do trebles. 1, 2, 3, and then another one in that one. Okay, so, and it basically is straightening our work. All that you're doing, just to give you a rerun, you do your trebles in these 2. So you do a treble there, and then in these 5 you do a double crochet. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 double crochets, and that's all that you do, and you're going to get a look like this. So do that all the way to the end of this one and this row, and I'll show you what to do. We've come to the end of this, just about the end of the row, and you've got your 2 stitches over here which you're going to do your trebles in. So there's the 1 and 1 in that last one, just right over here. Okay, and then you've done this first row. So when you finished your work, this is what you do. You don't end off or anything. This was the last row that you did, and you just come and do your double crochets and your trebles. So your 2 trebles will go in these ones, and your double crochet 1 in each of these. And you should be fairly straight. It's just going to be easier for us to work with a straighter edge. Now we're going to come down our very first side. You should be facing the right way of your work, so you don't have to worry about that. This is, so you want the right side facing, but you should be doing that, because after you finish that round and you went here, this is the right side of your work, so that won't be a problem. Now what I'm going to do is I'm just, for this round, just going all the way straight, and I'm just going to do double crochets. Right, so we've just done that last treble over there. Now we're going to go down this side. So I'm going to start off with chain 2. Now I'm doing double crochets, and usually you would do a chain 3, but the chain 3 just made it a little bit too sloppy, so I'm just doing chain 2. So we're going to do chain 2, then you're just going to do double crochets, go into this very first space. Now I'm not going to be telling you how many double crochets to do. I'm going to do another one in here, for the simple reason that you might have had a different amount of rows as me, and I can't give you a set amount. What I want you to do is you're just going to be going down with double crochets. I want you to be sure that your work is evenly spaced. Once again, this is the kind of crocheter that I am. You know, I'm kind of free form in that sense, that with this it's very free form. You can see here, look how these are lying. They're lying pretty evenly spaced, and that's what you want to do here. If you're going to be adding too many, you're going to see it's going to be extremely floppy, and if you have too few, it's going to pull. So in my first one I just put 2 double crochets, and then I put another double crochet in this space, and I've done another one here. Now you're going to have to just play with yours. If you feel like it needs another double crochet like here, I can see that I could actually fit another one in. So I'm going to try it, but I don't want it to be too many, because if you have too many double crochets, this is going to pull your work, not pull it in, it's going to be too much. It's hard to explain, but it'll just be too much. So you want to spread them out fairly evenly. So now, because I put that extra one in there, I'm going to do another one in here. Now if I didn't want to do this one in that space, you could actually just do it in here, in this little hole over here, which is fairly good because it'll pull your stitches closer. They're not going to just be able to move around like they are here. So that's pretty good. You see, they're fairly evenly spaced. You want this to lie flat. You don't want it to be all bulky, and you don't want it to be pulling. See, they're lying pretty flat there. So you want a fairly even row across here. But there is no real specific right or wrong. See, I went in there, but now I'm going to come in here. Now here I will do 2 because it's a fairly long space. So we'll just put 2 double crochets in that one. And as long as this is lying flat, if you put it down, you can see mine is lying flat. I don't have too many. I'm leaning more towards having more on here than I have less. So I've just got to be aware of that. So now I'm going to go into this one, where you can go into a stitch like this, where it's going to hold your work down in the sense that it's not going to move around like these are moving around. Do that. Where you can put them in a place like that, do that. Okay, and that's all that you're going to do for this row. And you might have put 2 in one of these spaces, but then you see, no, it looks like it's getting too much. Then just go into the next one. So it's no set rule here that you have 2 in each space. See, now there's a bit of a big gap. So I'll have to consider it. To see if I move that one, it's not too bad. Yeah, see, now with it over there, it's fairly even. Now, what you could also do, I'm not going to do it there, let me show you. You could try and go into the actual stitch, then they don't move around. For example, you could actually go into this stitch and not actually into the space, and then your double crochet won't move around. It'll have to stay in this actual spot. So that's another way of doing it if you want to. You see there? Now it's actually staying there, and you'll get a better idea. So if this is a little harder, try this. You don't really want to, you can see this is sitting up a little higher based on going down there. So whichever one you prefer to do, kind of stick to it. You know, it doesn't really bother me either way, whichever one you want to do, whether you want to go in like this or over the stitch. Just kind of keep it, if you're going with these ones, stick to most of them like that, except where I said, you know, the odd one, do it. But if you're doing this, you want to kind of stick to going that way in your stitch. It might be a little easier to do it this way because you can see a little bit easier where to put another stitch. Like there, I'd put another stitch in there. You can put another one in here and then over there. So whichever way works for you. But you just want it to be lying flat. Now the more you do, you'll be able to see if it's going to be doing this. If it's starting to do this, you don't want that, because then you know you've got too many. You want it to lie as flat as you can. So yeah, go ahead, do that. Go all the way down the one side, and I'll meet you at the bottom of this side. So it's just double crochets all the way down. Okay, as I'm doing this, I'm getting a little bit of a pattern, which I will show you works. I'm actually doing mine in the stitch. I'm finding that it's actually going to work better, but it's a little harder to get your hook through. But so that's why if you do it in the actual space, it's also right. But I'm just doing mine in the actual stitch, and it looks like the pattern that's working for me is to do one, and it seems to be working pretty well. You'll have to see right over here. There's a gap over there, so it's like doing one in there. Oops, one in there. And then doing one, oh my goodness, and then doing one in the middle of this lot. As I said, it's a little tricky to find a space, but I usually like to have 2 threads on that side. Okay, and then once again 1 over here. It seems to be working for me like that. Now sometimes depends on how you ended yours off, it might not. See, now I must get 1 in here, and it is a little tricky to find your stitch. Oops, depends on where how you ended off. So one in the middle of that long strand, and then 1 right in the beginning again over here. Now I've changed my yarn over here, so it's a little bit tricky. But yeah, it seems to be working for me like that. So, you know, if you want a pattern, or just keep doing what you're doing. But basically, I put 1 in there, and then 1 in the middle of that long stitch. 1 in there, 1 in the middle. So, let's see if I can find here. Yeah, so I would do 1 over here, 1 there, and then 1 in the middle. 1 there, and 1 in the middle of this long one. So 1 over there in the beginning, and 1 in the middle. And that works for me. But otherwise, if that's too complicated, just keep doing what you're doing. But that's a pretty good way. And then I'm coming out fairly even. You can see how straight this is. It's not puckering anything here like that, and it's not stretching out. So it's, you want it just to be loose enough and just the right tension. So anyway, I'm just about done, and I'll meet you at the bottom here, and then we'll start with the Alright, so I've come to the bottom of my side, and I'm coming down to the end piece here. Now this is where we did the very first row to start our project, and we're actually going to do the opposite of what we did to the other end on here. So for this, I'm going to chain 2, and I'm going to do 2 double crochets. So double crochets where I see these big trebles. Okay, so you did your chain 2. Now you're going to, you can see your 2 higher stitches here. So we're going to do double crochets in those. We're not actually going to do trebles. We're reversing what we did on the other one. So 1 double crochet there, and 1 double crochet there. And just find a spot. It doesn't have to be exactly in that stitch. Okay, then you should have 5 stitches down the bottom here. And that's where you're going to do your, there's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. That's where you're going to do your treble. So you're going to yarn around twice, and you're going to go into each one. Just go into the best place that you can above it. 1, 2, 3, and then another one. So you're going to have 5 of those. So we're basically doing the reverse. See, you can kind of see where there's a bit of a knot. That's where I'm going above that. That's 2. This is 3. And 4. And then 5 in the last one. Let's do it over there. I know, unfortunately, I've got the black at the end part here, but you'll see now it should start straightening out for you. It's just a reverse. The other one we did 2 trebles and 5 double crochets. This we're doing the other way. Now you can see your long stitch over here. So we're going to do a double crochet in these. So it's opposite to what we did on our other row. 2 doubles. And now we've got to do our trebles in here. 5 trebles. 1. And you can kind of see where your knots are. Just go above them. So this is 1, 4, and 5 in this last one. And your work should be straightening out a little bit more. Yeah, see? It's basically straight. Okay, and then you're going to do your 2 doubles in here. And when you've done that, so it's the same thing all the way. So you did your 2 doubles above these high ones, and then 5 trebles in this where it goes down. 2 doubles, 1 double there, 1 double there, and 5 trebles in there. Do that to the end of this, and then on this side you're going to do exactly the same as you did over here. It's going to do your double crochets. You're going to just do a double crochet in each to make it even. And like I showed you on the other one, it basically worked out where I could do 1 over there, and then 1 in the middle, 1 over there, and 1 in the middle over there, sorry. So work it out. This is actually slightly different now because this is this is where I started my work, so it's a little bit different. So, but basically you want to do the same thing as you did here so that your double crochets are even. So I'm going to do that. I'm going to go here and I'm going to go across the other side with just my double crochets, and then I'll meet you at the end of that. So what you're going to do now, my rectangle or whatever you want to call this measures, it's approximately 62 inches long by 12 inches wide. Now I could have made mine a little bit wider. Now if you need a bigger one, this I would say, I'm really a size large on top. I'd like my things loose, so I could fit in a medium, but I'm more of a large. So this one would probably fit a large. It's kind of I mean, it's not that it wouldn't fit smaller or larger. It just depends on how snug you like yours. So, okay. So what you're going to do is you're going to, if you want to make yours in a slightly bigger size, you can put extra stitches on and make it wider. But if you do that, you must make the length longer as well, and I'll show you why now. So if you're going to make yours slightly bigger, make sure that when you're adding on extra stitches that you make your length longer at the same time. So mine's 62 by 12, so if you made yours 72, then you need to make the 12 inches longer. If you make this an inch longer, you're going to want to make this longer as well, and I'll show you why now. But what you're going to do is you want to make yours exactly half. Now this is very stretchy, so unfortunately we're not going to have it exactly perfect, but it doesn't matter, it really works. So halve yours, and then you're going to put a safety pin or something where it's halved. So basically, and just make sure you've got it more or less right without stretching it too much. Alright, so my half is over here, and it doesn't matter which side, just make sure that you have your right side and wrong side at the right place. Okay, so I've got a marker there. Now this is the wrong side that's facing us. Okay, so what you're going to do now is you're going to work with the 1/2. Okay, and then you're going to fold this in like that, and then you're going to take this one and fold this in like that. So they're both meeting at this half point. Okay, so they're both meeting at the half point. Now what we're going to be doing is this part over here is going to go to where the safety pin is, and this part over here is going to come over here. So you're going to flip it, and you're going to put the bottom part there and the top part over here, and you can get some more safety pins, or you can sew it immediately now. So as long as this is exactly there, with that over there, you can pin this over here, pin that there, and pin this one here. Okay, so that's really the hardest part to this whole thing, and you do exactly the same to this one. So you're going to take this piece, and that piece is going to go there, and that piece is going to go there. And just be careful, you don't want to mess it up. That's exactly the way you want to do it. So this end piece will come right over here by this join, over there, and this over here, it'll come to the end. And I'll show you now why it matters that your length, if you make this wider. Don't stretch this. This part is a little bit stretchier, so don't stretch it out too much. And then this is what you're going to sew. You're going to sew this on there and that on there. Okay, now when you, with mine now, I would have liked this part to be a little bit longer. That part is this part here, this is the bottom part that I put on the top, and this is so this is my length. Your top part here is your length, and this part here is the width. So I should have, if I wanted it to be a little bit wider, I should have made my width wider. But if you're making your width wider, let me show you what happens. So if I make the width wider, I'm going to be using more of my sleeve here. which will take up all the sleeve, and I'll end up with a little armhole like that, which you don't want. That's why you got to do, if I make this longer, I've got to make that longer. So basically, if you're going with a bigger size, make it longer and make it wider, and you'll be good. It should work out fine. So what I'm going to do now is I'm going to sew mine together. I'm going to sew, the only place you're sewing is from there to there and from there to there. So I'm going to sew mine together, and then what I'm going to do is, because I wanted this a little wider, I'm just going to make a little bit of a border going all the way around here, a little bit of a frill. It's perfect the way it is, you don't have to do anything to it, but I just want to make a little bit of a frill over here, and you can do the same thing on the sleeves as well. I'll see if I want to do something there, the same thing, but I'm going to work on a border here, and I'll show you how I'll do that, and I'll do it all the way around here. And yeah, so let's keep going. This is just so you can see how to make how to put it together. So let's keep going. Alright, now that you sewed these together, you're going to just remember to sew it on the wrong way around. And you're going to just flip it over to the right side, and you should have a bit of a V over here. Now I'm going to be making a border all the way around. You don't have to. Don't think that you have to, because it's fine the way it is, but I just want to do that. This is where you sewed it. I've got it upside down. This is where you sewed it. Okay, now what I want to do is just make a border around here and around there, coming back here. So I'm going to start off by making a slip stitch, and then I'm going to go into this space here and into this one here. I'm going to put it in this very first space here and this one over here. Okay, and we're going to slip stitch through all 3 of these stitches, there and through there. Okay, that's just to start our work. So that's right in the center. So that's more or less in the center now. Now all that I'm going to do is, okay, so all that you do now is you do chain 3. So you're going to chain 3, and then you're going to go into, not this one, but the next space, and you're just going to do a double crochet. And in the next space, same thing, double crochet. So all that you're going to do is do a double crochet in each one of these spaces that you have. So we're going to do this all the way around until we come back to where we had started. So just do that with a double crochet in each space all the way around. And I'll meet you back here. So I've gone all the way around, and I'm going to do a double crochet in this very last space over here. Right, then you're going to just slip stitch into this chain that you had made, the top chain. So there's 1, 2, 3. I'm just going to go in here with a slip stitch. Okay, and now your work is all joined together. So now what we're going to do is, I think I'm just doing it again. So I'm going to do 1, 2, 3 chain, and then I'm going to do a double crochet in this next one, and I'm going to do double crochet in the next one. So I think I'm just going to go around again. So I've got one more row of exactly the same thing. So I'm going to do that, go all the way around, and then I'll meet you back here. Alright, so for the 3rd row, now if you don't want to do 3 rows, you can just do the 2, and then what I'm doing on this last row, what I'm showing you now is you can do as many rows as you like with the double crochet all the way around in each space. But on the very last row, however many you do, we're going to do 3 chain and then another 3. So 1, 2, 3, and this is going to become a picot. So you're going to miss 1, 2, and you're going to go into the 3rd chain and do a single crochet. Okay, and then you're going to do double crochet in your next space. So we're doing double crochet the whole time, but you're going to make a picot at the top of that. So 1, 2, 3 chain, and then a single crochet into that bottom chain. Now I just go into these 2 stitches on the bottom. Just do a single crochet and then double crochet in the next one, and the same thing, 1, 2, 3, oh goodness, 3, and then in the bottom of that 3rd chain you do a single crochet, and it's going to look like this. Now when you come around, I'm not going to show you again, when you come around you're going to slip stitch into the top of this 3rd over here, so that picot can stand by itself. So you'll slip stitch with this last one in there. But this is all you're doing, double crochet, and then 1, 2, 3, and at the bottom of that 3rd one do a single crochet, and double crochet in your next one. And it's just doing that mesh stitch with a picot at the top of it. So that's what you would do for your very last row, and that's all that we're going to do. So yeah, you can do as many of these mesh rows as you like, and you know, if you don't want to do this picot at the top, you don't have to either. I just thought I'd finish it with that, and that's basically it. So that's going to be all that I'm doing. And if you want to do the same thing on your sleeve, I might do the same thing. If I do it, I'm going to do it exactly the same as this. Just do one. In fact, I might just do one or two rows and just end it exactly the same. So you can do that on your sleeve as well. It's no harm in that. You would just start, join up in here. You would just join in here, do chain 3, double crochet in there, double crochet, all the way around, exactly the same as we did on that one. Join on that third chain and go around. And if you want to do the picots, you do the same thing. But it also is fine to stand by itself, whatever you want to do. I'm probably going to do the same border on my sleeves. So, but as I say, it's exactly the same as what you did here. So, and then that's your little jacket complete. So I'm glad that you joined me in this video. Thank you for joining me, and I hope that you've enjoyed doing this project, and I hope to see you in my next video. Thanks so much. Bye.